People who have done no sex until marriage, what was it like to finally do the sex, and are there any regrets? Took a little longer than I expected to get it right, figuring out how it works and what we each like. No regrets, though. Still good after more than 10 years. Doing the sex was fun and awkward, just like almost anyone's first time. No regrets, would have sex again. I was a virgin, my wife was not. We actually had the sex the night before we got married because she said she didn't want to marry a virgin. Biggest regret. He turned up to be asexual. Did not do the sex for entire marriage. No longer in said marriage. I married a Catholic divorcee with a teenage daughter who wasn't comfortable with it, so we waited. It wasn't worth waiting for. She was extremely anxious about it and it never got better. We are no longer together. My wife and I were both virgins on our wedding night and both of us thought it was worth the wait at the time. Now, we're not sure we would make the same choice and are teaching our kids differently. My sil did this. She has since been divorced, twice, and is now in an open relationship and has had sex with well over 50 people. Depends how you define sex. We, hetero couple, did everything but PIV. A small part was religion, but I think that there was a lot more to it for me, including having long-standing difficulties fully settling into trust, not about fidelity, more emotional stuff, and BC I was terrified of getting pregnant, having grown up in poverty / not having any social networks to fall back on / being personally unwilling to get an abortion, totally pro-choice for everyone else. Sexually we had a sense that we would be pretty compatible based on other stuff we did, and we were / are. We are 13 years in and happy, with regular and enjoyable sex. Waiting gave me comfort for many of my other anxieties, so I was more relaxed when we did have sex. Additionally, when we later had to do long distance due to deployments, etc., it felt easier in some ways. Knowing that we each had the capacity to really desire sex but also wait on each other. So, I wouldn't have done it any other way, but it wasn't this revolutionary thing either. Absolutely no regrets. We don't know if we're good at it or not, we just know we enjoy it. I was a 29-year-old virgin when I got married, mostly because of religion. The sex was okay, but there was definitely a feeling of why TF did I wait? It wasn't any more special because we waited for marriage. I have tons of regrets, mostly because I feel like I missed out on so much of life in my 20s due to my religion. I'm now 35 and divorced and doing my best to make up for lost time, and it's awesome. Yes, regrets that I allowed other people's stigma on sex keep me from experiencing something as natural as life on this planet over something that is nobody else's business but mine and the consenting adult I was with. My husband and I were virgins on our wedding night. I can't speak for him, but I have no regrets. I feel like I have an amazing bond with him that I could never have with anyone else. And over our 7 years of marriage so far, we've had lots of fun exploring everything together. Follow-up question, how many of you did pretty much everything else besides P in the V sex as a convenient loophole? It was terrible. We had communicated about our sexual desires for years before we got married. We were still completely incompatible. It was great and just had gotten better over the last 9 years. Very difficult wait though. I'll advise my kids to try other cautious approaches rather than fully endorse it though. It's tough and there are other ways to get the benefits. No regrets. I was raped early on, which is why I think I waited. I wanted to make sure I could do it on my own terms and I wasn't ready until I met my now husband. We didn't wait until marriage, but he was the only guy I've ever slept with. It was quite cathartic for me. Waited till marriage, very fulfilling. High libido match. It was wonderful, no regrets. The first time wasn't amazing physically, but it was emotionally. We had just promised our lives to each other and trusted each other completely, so it wasn't awkward at all, just very natural and sweet and fun. The physical got better and better over time. We were both virgins at the time and so have nothing to compare it to, but I love that. We've only ever been with each other and only ever planned to be. We mostly chose to because of our faith, Christian, but were very much on the same page about it, which is probably the most important thing. So, nope, wouldn't change a thing. So I decided to wait when I was in high school. Not a religious thing, just terrified of getting knocked up. So I decided to wait for marriage. Then if I got pregnant I'd be in a place in my life I could deal with it. So fast forward like 10 years and I realized I was almost 30 and wasn't even dating anyone seriously. I panicked a little and basically decided to throw the idea of waiting out the window. I went on a few dates with someone and decided he would do for my deflowering. I told him I was a virgin and he would be my first, and he panicked, I guess assuming it meant I thought he was the one. I did not. Obviously things did not work out between us. I got a bit of a complex, and basically just wanted to get it over with. I ended up hooking up with some guy I met in a bar. Don't even remember his name. Many regrets. He was the only other guy I've been with other than my now husband. Funny thing is, I ended up getting knocked up before I was married anyways. I didn't have sex till marriage because of my religion. Sex itself is overhyped, but I love the intimacy and closeness of being sexual and free with my partner. Depends on how you define sex lol. It was more painful for me, which sucked. I actually have no regrets because I love my partner and I can't regret anything that landed me him. That being said, I also waited because the religion taught me I should and I won't be passing that on to my kids. I waited, no regrets. Didn't seem awkward at all to me. Not to knock on anyone else, I personally waited because I don't think it's dirty, not because I do. I think people put way too much focus on it. Don't get me wrong, sex is great, but the insane focus on it I think cheapens it and goads people into making bad decisions. For different reasons, I didn't end up kissing anyone until I was 22 or 23. I remember after my first kiss, my reaction was that's it? That's what everyone made a big deal about for my childhood and adolescence? I kind of feel the same here. It's just one aspect of a good relationship and definitely not anywhere near the most important. Because I assume people will ask, yes, I had plenty of opportunity. I don't regret passing on any of it. My boyfriend has chosen this, and although I had already done it before being with him, it's not hard to resist, and I think it's better like this. Before him, I felt like all my SO cared about was sex. But because mine is waiting, I know he's staying with me for me and not because of what I can do. When we were done we looked at each other, said and agreed we wasted a lot of time, we could have been having fun. Was amazing and was well worth the wait. No regrets. Here other people refer to previous partners that were horrible in bed but great partners or vice versa. Never had the issue, hopefully never will. Considering I only know it with one person, my wife. Going to be 8 years in October. My husband and I were both virgins until we married. I'm glad we waited. Our first time was not magical by any means, but we enjoyed learning together over the next while. Honestly, it was sort of painful for me because foreplay was not hubby's main priority, but we learned the importance of that too. I don't regret anything. Sadly, because of medication I'm on, I have zero libido now, but our relationship is good despite this. Brutal and embarrassing honesty here. My wife and I waited until we got married and had no idea what to do. I mean, of course we knew what went where, but that was about all we knew. Stopping to put on a condom felt weird and clumsy, and we had no idea the importance of lube and what a difference that would make for her comfort and enjoyment. Pretty much sucked at sex for the first several weeks and months. It didn't make much difference to us because we didn't know just how great good sex is. We enjoyed being intimate and had no issues getting to climax, considering the years of celibacy, but when we finally really figured things out and hit our stride. Damn. After 10 years we have gotten pretty darn good at it. I wouldn't change anything. It's embarrassing and kind of cute. It fits us well.